Ladies and gents, welcome to the platform. As you can see next to me, he needs no introduction. The man that's admired by many, an African star, Theo Baloyi. How you doing, sir?
I'm great, thanks, brother. How you doing?
I'm alright. I'm alright. I'm just grateful, to have you and to be catching up with you. So today, we are at a Tastic event, and they're doing a great initiative whereby they're raising funds through art, and and you were here today to support, and you bought some art pieces. So yeah, tell us about the evening. Just give us a young recap of what is happening today.
Yeah, it was actually, to be honest with you, it was my first event where I attended and they're selling art. And when you listen to or when you read through the objective of Tastic, education fund and what they're trying to achieve, it's something that is really close to me personally. It's close to my heart because I'm a product of opportunity. I'm a beneficiary of bursary funding, from corporates that have funded me as donors, But what was more beautiful was, when you look at the beautiful art pieces and you listen to their stories, for me, one thing that I take away from it is that art has a meaning, it has a purpose, it has an objective, it has a story behind it. And those stories, a lot of us can resonate with, So with the art pieces that I've bought, throughout this drive, there are art pieces that resonate with me. Sometimes you get into spaces, you see beautiful art, but you don't really actually understand what it means. So coming to this event for me, and which I had to applaud Tastic and the artists, is that they put stories that are authentic to an ordinary South African, an ordinary South African citizen, and for me that was a beautiful experience.
Yeah, and for me, it's obviously about telling stories, and the twins, they were sharing a lot of stories about their mother.
Yeah.
And obviously the money is going towards education, so that Africans, young kids, can benefit from education, because we know it's not easy.
Yeah.
Which brings me to your thoughts around that, because you are self-made. I know you have corporate experience before you became an entrepreneur, but a big part of your entrepreneurial journey was you are a self-starter. And looking at the state of the country right now, even Cyril Ramaphosa, our president, said during his SONA that businesses are the ones that create job opportunities. So if it was up to you, what would you do to get rid of unemployment in the continent and in our country?
Very, very good question. And I would say that I think we as a continent, number one, before we even get to South Africa as a country, we attract a lot of foreign investment. But a lot of foreign investment and billions of US dollars is deployed into courses and projects that are not really creating employment or that are creating impact. It's deployed into traditional route of governance and doing business, and that's where corruption then gains power. But if a lot of those foreign investment is deployed into, number one, innovation, the youth, startups, that's where we'll see great impact, and obviously with the right governance. So that is one thing that I will change to say, we as a continent, South Africa now, we just had our own investment conference about 2 weeks ago, which raised a lot of money, but I would use that to drive more youth I think startups or youth businesses and startups and innovation and technology, more than saying that we're going to take X amount of money and to give it to a business that has been doing traditional way of business for the longest of time. Take that and put it into innovation, take that and put it into the youth, and then you will see what it's doing. A perfect example is that we are exporting a lot of new genre of music, amapiano, but our own government is not even invested in it, and they were not even ready for it. They didn't even invest in it. Imagine if an appetite where an example like Maporisa can export himself, or a Foka can export himself without any backup. What would have happened if the government backed him up, or arts and culture backed him up, when he was still developing? Where would we be? Where would entertainment from South Africa be? Elon Musk, Tesla, from South Africa. If that was deployed to him before he was an Elon Musk, when he was still starting up in Free State in Bloemfontein, and he had a dream, if government invested in him, then Tesla would have been our own. But because we don't invest in that, and we attract so much foreign investment, we don't invest all of that, those proceeds and fundraising into the right avenues. That's why we fail as a country. So if I was the president, I was going to take all of that and invest it in startups. Startups that can give me profit today or returns today, but can build up an industry tomorrow. Amapiano is a big thing today, but even our own arts and culture department didn't even invest in it.
And wow, you just touched something that's very important. And for me, entrepreneurs always have one challenge, right?
Yeah.
You have a business plan, you have a great idea, but now it's hard for you to get funding because your books don't look good.
Sure.
They always look at the bottom line. It's almost as if for you to get funding, even government, yes, there are certain grants that you can get from government whereby you don't have to be making money, but it's designed for people that are making money already, or at least that's what I've been exposed to. So now my question is yes, it makes business sense on why to invest on a company that's making an income so that that your investment is safe.
Yeah.
But how do we get around that when we're living in a country with poverty, when we don't have resources?
I think for me, we do have resources, number one. We just don't use the resources in the right way. In business sometimes you need to, whether it's a startup, whether it's a concept, whether it's a business that just went through a proof of concept stage, but you always need to allocate for a loss. And a loss in trying new things and in product development, in research and development. So I always feel like the reason why we don't do that and we want to fund companies that are showing returns is because we don't have allocation and room, or reservation for just research and innovation and trying new things. There's no budget for that to say, we've got X amount of budget for promising businesses. We don't know if they want to win. We don't know if they want to be a success. But there's the budget. We want to utilize this money because we believe in them. If they fail, that's what business is. It's a risk, right? But if they win, then it benefits the economy.
Yeah.
It's always like everything else has to be counted for and then we need it to win. Yeah. But in the general world of business, it doesn't work like that. Even the entrepreneurs that you mentioned that the president mentioned that are creating jobs, they have their fair share of losses. But why doesn't the government want to have a fair share of losses in investing in the right avenues, what they think is the right avenues?
Yeah. Wow, man. Okay. So now coming back to you, we all know what you do.
Yeah.
And, I think the last time I interviewed you, I asked you about ever since, you were the first black guy in South Africa to start your own, shoe brand.
Sure.
And then it became a success. And obviously we saw other brands coming up. And you said that you liked that because your vision is to see, more South African brands. You don't want to be the only one. You want other guys to be out there as well. So now my question is, what's next for you, as an entrepreneur, and also what's next for Batu as a brand?
I think for me as an entrepreneur, it's more about growing our product and service offering, diversifying myself as an entrepreneur, and creating more impact. So I'm about purpose. I'm a purpose-driven entrepreneur more than anything else. I want to see everything else that I do, that I get into, create more impact, and it's more sustainable. And I think for us as a brand is that we've actually established ourselves in South Africa, and we've got a great appetite above outside South African borders, and we want to try to convert that appetite into more brand equity.
Theo, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. And yeah, man, I hope you run for government, maybe get a young position somewhere, because you understand business, and I think you must. What's this department? What is it called now? So it's not like Boom. What is it? NYDA. I think you must try and get in that office. What do you think?
Well, it's not my handwriting. You had it from him. But if an opportunity arises, I'll jump onto it.
Yeah, because I think that department needs someone who understands, to run it, because they get a lot of money from government, and that money we don't know where it's going. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Now, is there anything else that you want to say to people out there?
No, nothing much. But I think for me, today's experience, thank you to Tastic, thank you to the Twins. It was my first event attending a fundraising event through art, and I really loved it. And I think there's many more. And I think if together as a country, as a people, as citizens, we come together for a good cause, there's more that we can do. Because we raised, I think today we achieved the target of 1 million of fundraising, and collectively, So it goes to show what we can do as a collective, as a people, So let's do more of that, in whatever way, whether it's art, whether it's music, whether it's supporting local, whether it's building our own economy. But there's much more power when we come together as a collective.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Danke.